Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here. It is December 20th, 2018, about 7:45 p.m. here, West Coast time, and taking a look at live seismograph stations from around the globe. Pretty quiet at the moment. A little spike of an earthquake right there at Yellowstone. That's a second station down on the left-hand side. And earthquake 3D globe, pretty active day for earthquake activity, including a pretty powerful 7.3 earthquake just off of the Russia up there, right along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Very active today. Since then, they've had quite a bit of aftershock activity following that large 7.3 magnitude. You can see the pretty big sized dome over the region there. Let me bring up the magnitudes here and see where it's at. It's hiding somewhere. There it is. So 7.3, that pretty large earthquake earlier today. The latest earthquake showing up right there was an aftershock, just a 4.8 magnitude, and they're definitely going to see some aftershock activity, I can guarantee you. I know this time last night we were talking about some deep earthquake activity in the Fiji Islands region. That continues today. As I mentioned in the video, whenever we do see deep earthquakes, we tend to watch, and I'm repeating myself here, for larger earthquakes up here around the quiet zones. And this was the quiet zone yesterday that I was talking about. So pretty much spot on this earthquake call right here, as we had seen pretty much no activity, if anything, in this quiet section here, leading up to and just after that deep earthquake that occurred yesterday. This is another deep earthquake here in Fiji at 614 kilometers below the surface there, 4.7 magnitude there. So the activity continues in the way down there below the surface of the earth there. And it's hard to say if we're going to see more larger activity. It's very possible. We're definitely going to see some higher magnitudes out here around the quiet zones here. West Coast, seeing a little bit of activity. I'm going to get to that here in just a little bit. But, just be on guard out there, folks. We're seeing a lot of deep plate movement and some large magnitudes there at the surface on the north part of the Pacific plate. So, not a whole lot over here on the West Coast. A little bit. Down here in Mexico, still seeing some type of swarming going on there. A couple 4s and a low 5 magnitude that we've been seeing over the past couple days there. Just seems to continue. And also down there around South America and Chile region as well. But concerning me is the new large deep earthquake there, 4.7, moderate earthquake, but definitely deep nonetheless at 614 kilometers there. So, be on guard, folks. If I had to point out an area where we need to watch, no doubt the West Coast region there with some activity occurring. I'll get to that here in a second. And also possibly up here towards the Japan region there. Just anywhere within these quiet zones here. It's an area that is locked, and when you have movement along a big portion of the plate, which is the Pacific plate, what does that do to the areas that are already locked or in place? It just adds more friction in any given direction, for the most part, wherever the weak spots are out there along the fault system and the plate boundaries. Getting into California and Nevada, I want to show you guys on this other map here. It's a little bit easier to view. This here is the latest from the Caltech website here. Activity continues throughout California. Reno, Carson City area had an earthquake this morning. Pretty early, right around 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, I guess. Quite a few people felt that near Carson City. Since then, they're definitely seeing some aftershock activity. Let me see if I can bring this up right here. Hopefully it will let me. Probably just going to show, it's just going to show me the last couple small earthquakes here. Hold on one second here, folks. But either way, let's see here. I'm not for sure what's going on. I might have to go to a different website here. We'll pop up the USGS website real quick and take a look at them. We can zoom in a little bit better here in that area that I'm trying to discuss here. Let's zoom in here a little bit. So it was nothing major up there around the Carson City area, but definitely people felt it, and it's got a lot to do with the activity that's occurring along the Pacific Plate here. Let's see, 3.6 was the largest in that sequence of earthquakes there in Carson City, Nevada. That was quickly followed up by a 3.1. I actually seen those come in on the live seismograph stations there, and it showed up on like the San Andreas system and also down in Mammoth Lakes as well. Quickly followed up by that was a 3.1 up in Yellowstone, Montana, and then right around that time we had the big 7.3 over by Russia. But generally speaking here, looking out over the Intermountain West region, we started to see, and this is only one day, we can go back here, let's go back 7 days, 2.5 and above should cover it. Let's see here, might be a little hard to see, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, but you can kind of see a progression of earthquakes here. We even had some out in Utah, Colorado, kind of stretching out over here towards eastern Nevada, northern Nevada, and now western Nevada. And and we're still seeing a little bit of activity down here in Southern California, and that's not out of the norm, but I would expect that to increase as we're seeing this progression of quakes go from east to west over here, like I said, through Utah, Nevada, and most recently Carson City area. So I wouldn't doubt if we start seeing a little bit more increase in activity at Mammoth Lakes and also down here in Southern California region, where it looks like it's already starting up a little bit tonight. Right around, what is that, Agunaga? I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but it's over here on the side here. This area right here, we're seeing some 2s and 3s pop off there. They look micro, they look like little minor dots here on the map, but these are actually fairly light earthquakes, but getting up around the moderate range when you get into 3.5s or 3.5 magnitudes here. And it's not really in a fault system here. It's not really in any specific fault area. You do have the San Andreas fault system running up here and off to the east, and also other fault systems around the area, but nothing where these earthquakes took place here. In fact, I can't find any fault systems out there where these 4 sizable earthquakes took place. Most of them are just within the confined area right around looks like Tule Valley or north of there, also around the Beauty Mountain region down there as well. So we're gonna watch this area. It's possible we could see this leading up to more and increased pressure out here on the San Andreas fault system, which is a little ways away, but nonetheless, geologically speaking, pretty close. Salton Sea region, pretty quiet at the moment over the past 7 days. That's an area that we need to watch. If we start seeing swarming down here on the south end of it, then that's a big heads up to really pay attention. But right now, it's looking pretty mellow. So yeah, we just, areas to watch, California, and also the mentioned areas in these certain quiet zones out here where we haven't seen a lot of activity. Like I said, that 7.3 was in an area that I mentioned last night to look out for them, just because of the quietness up here. The large, deep earthquakes down in Fiji having an effect up here on the surface on the same plate, the Pacific Plate, Pacific Ring of Fire, at the surface with that 7.3. So now, it's just fairly quiet in certain areas. It could calm down for a little bit, and we could see pressure build up once again over here from the east. We'll just have to see how it goes over the next day or so, but I will keep you guys updated and let you know whenever something's happening. I try to. Right now I'm kind of working days, so it's sometimes hard to get into into an update video, but I will definitely try to get it up as soon as I can possibly can, folks. Like I say, I run live seismographs over here on the left side of the screen, and yeah, I will keep an eye on things out here. Wish I could fire up the live stream, but that's just not going to happen for a couple months. And we'll just continue marching forward with some update videos in the meantime. So stay safe out there, folks. Just always be prepared. I've had a headache all day. I'm not for sure why. Maybe it was that meteor dust that exploded over California last night, and it just dropped it down into the atmosphere, and it rained on us. So now we're breathing in meteor dust. Who knows? Anyway, just really drained, tired feeling today, so no bueno. Peace out, folks. Have a great night out there, and that'll be the last video tonight unless something else happens. Peace out.